Hey guys, this is Goku, and on this channel we talk about poker and ideas that can improve your life. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and click the subscribe button because I'll be honored to have you here. Today we're gonna sum up the GTO spot that we just finished playing. This was the MP2 Open versus Button Call, a tournament spot played on 50 big blind stacks. We have finished playing 500 hands of this spot, and as you can see, our overall EV result was minus 32 BBs per 100 hands. So not bad, not great either. Our previous spot, the cash game spot, we finished with a worse result, so I think we're getting better. That's a good thing for sure. Let's see the specifics here. I'm gonna just try and sum up this spot, and then also I'm gonna show you 8 hands and that were the biggest EV loss, and we'll try and analyze those. So if we take a look at our betting or raising frequencies, we can see we are really far from GTO still in this matter. We are not checking or calling enough. As you can see, we have bet or raised 604 times, while the GTO would do that 469. So this is quite a difference. Here as well, with checking or calling, we see we had 122 less checks than the GTO. When it comes to folding, we are also not folding enough. This is just a 10% difference, so that's not that bad. But yeah, for the next spot, what we surely need to focus on is checking or calling more. We can see 20% more. We should actually check or call, and we should bet or raise 20% less, and then we'll perfect our frequencies. We can see the top line will be our line and the bottom line will be GTO. So with a full house, we can see that the GTO is doing less betting and more checking. 2/3 of the time almost the GTO is checking with full houses, and we are betting 57% of the time and checking just 43. With a flush, we can see also we are betting way too often than we should be, almost twice as much. We can see the solver is betting 44% and 56% of the time he's checking, and we are betting 78% of the time and only checking 22. When it comes to straights, our frequency here again leans towards betting 65%, whilst the solver is betting 41%. Yeah, we can see clearly here that with our very strong hands, we should be doing more of the checking, and we're not doing that enough. And when it comes to re-raising, it's the same here, so at least that's good. Yeah, with a set, you can see 84% of the time we've been betting and checking 16% of the time, and the solver actually leans here again way more heavily towards checking. With trips, we can see we've got the perfect GTO frequency, so that's good. With 2 pair, we are not that far off, just 5% more betting, 2% less checking, and 2% less re-raising. With a pair, we see again our frequencies lean more heavily towards betting, and the GTO leans more heavily towards checking. Ace high, we're not that far off. King high, we are actually not betting enough with king highs. We're checking too often, and we are not raising enough as well. And with nothing, our frequencies are not that far off from the GTO, so that's cool. When we take a look at our overall sessions, yeah, we've had one bad one, minus 70, and then towards the end, this one minus 62. and minus 50. But overall, we can see our average session, I think, would be like minus 20 something BBs of EV loss. Yeah, let's jump to the hands. Let me see here. Let's replay this one. This is an ace queen. We check here, which is fine. Can we play it ourselves? That'll be better. I guess we cannot. But so what happens in this hand is that on the flop, we don't see our hand anymore. Let's replay it again. So we check with our ace queen. Villain checks behind. Now we overbet the pot. The villain re-raises all in, and we fold here. And as you can see, this is a minus 7 BB of EV loss, and the solver actually calls here 100% of the time, which is quite interesting. Yeah, but actually, as we can see, our overbet here is just 26% of the strategy. The solver checks here 73% of the time. So ideally, we would just check here on this 4 of diamonds, check call, I guess. Or maybe check raise sometimes. But once we overbet here and the villain shoves, we gotta call this additional 30 BBs. Folding here is a big EV loss. So there's that. Let's go through this one. 6-7 suited on 8-10-10. We're betting 2/3 of the pot. Villain calls. There's another 8 of hearts on the turn. We're overbetting here, which is a clear mistake. The solver doesn't do that ever here. The solver checks 99.4% of the time. And overbetting here is minus 5.72 big blinds of EV loss. So yeah, in a spot like that, we should just give up on the hand. No point bluffing at it, I guess. Yeah, now that I look at it, it seems a bad bluff here, pretty much, because why invest so heavily into this? We've already put up a one bet of 2/3 of the pot on the flop. We got called. There's no reason to continue bluffing if there's so many full houses here. And yeah, I think that's why the solver just prefers giving up on the hand, because yeah, we can have so many better spots. Why commit to something like this? And on the flop, we can see even our bet 2/3 of the pot is a rare strategy. The solver only plays it 8.18% of the time, and ideally the solver just bets 1/3 of the pot 52% of the time. Okay, let's do this one. Ace-9 suited. We check, which is good. The villain bets 2/3 of the pot, and we call this, and we can see this is actually a very bad call here. We should just fold 99.98% of the time on a board like this. Once we checked, because we see the solver is betting at least 58% of the time on the flop, but once he checks, he's never calling the bet on the flop. So yeah, with this ace-9 suited, we should just give up here again. We didn't give up, we called this, and we can see this is a big EV loss. Then on the turn, we checked, which is again minus 1.14 BB of EV loss and 25% of the strategy. Ideally, once we call this flop bet, which is a bad strategy, we should actually continue. We should actually continue betting here, and yeah, that's it. I wonder how the solver actually calculated this turn line if it's folding 99.98% of the time on the flop. This is pretty weird, but okay. Let's replay this one. Pocket kings on jack deuce deuce. We're betting 2/3 of the pot, which is fine. The villain calls, and now on the turn we have an ace. We check. This is a rare strategy. Villain bets 12 BBs. We call. On the river we check again. Villain shoves, and we fold. And as we can see, we call. And as we can see, the solver actually folds here 99.7% of the time. It is a very, very minute part of the strategy calling here with pocket kings, but it is a minus 4.76 BB of EV loss. So we should pretty much just fold our kings here. Yeah, this ace probably hits too big of a part of his range to really make sense with our kings to call his overbet and shove on the river. So yeah, cool. Let's check out this one. Ace-7 suited on an ace-6 tray. We bet third of the pot, get called. 10 of spades on the turn, we check. Villain overbets the pot, and we call, which is fine. King on the river, we check again. Now the villain shoves, and we call. And this is again a bad call. We should be folding here 99.62% of the time. This is a minus 4 BB of EV loss play. It is again a very, very small percentage of the strategy. But yeah, those two last spots actually show that we are sticking way too often than we should with marginal hands. Probably it's better to look for simply better spots. And here we are only bluff catching with our hand, and it is a tournament spot, so in tournaments it's better to preserve chips than or pick better spots than this one. Yep. Let's check out this one. We have king queen off on a jack deuce ace. We check, which is fine. There's another, the villain checks behind. Jack on the turn. We overbet the pot. We get called. Ace on the river, and we donk bet it. Villain has pocket sixes, actually, and we win the pot. But donk betting here on the river is bad play, just 0.14% of the strategy. We should be checking here 99.84% of the time. And we can see really the solver is often doing that on the board where there are already two pairs. The solver prefers playing passively. We need to take that into account and avoid bluffing at those spots or betting. It's better to play those spots passively. This was a minus 3.44 BB of EV loss. This bet of quarter of the pot. We got called, actually. We got some value from the pocket sixes, but yeah, we should just be checking here. Okay, let's check out this spot. 5-6 suited on deuce 8 tray. We're betting 2/3 of the pot and getting called. Oh no, we're actually checking. The villain bet 6. We called that, which was a bad play. Yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah. We bet 5.5 on the flop, which was a fine play, but ideally we would check here. The villain called our bet. Then we checked the turn, which was a fine play. The villain bet 6, and we called that, and the call on the turn is really weak. Yeah, we've only got a double gut shot here, so we should just be folding it. It seems the solver is folding here 99% of the time, but we called that. That was a bad one. Now then we checked on the river and we folded to the bet, so that's fine. Let's see here. Ace 5 suited. We bet a quarter of the pot. We got raised and we folded. And surprisingly, this was also a bad fold. The solver never folds here. And surprisingly, the solver re-raises this 81% of the time. And this hand is really super weird, I have to say. Because, yeah, it seems such a weird spot to re-raise with Ace 5 suited. But, because what is really raising here? Sets, maybe Ace 10 sometimes. Over pairs, maybe a hand like 4-5 suited. Ace 4 maybe. Sometimes, very rarely. And yeah, I guess the re-raise makes sense here to get him off the overpairs. But is he folding the overpairs really to a re-raise here? I don't know. I don't feel like he's got enough of bluffs here to warrant a re-raise to get him off that. Maybe he folds Ace 10 if we re-raise. Probably he does, but I think that he's just too value heavy here when he re-raises. But nonetheless, we should follow the GTO and re-raise to 25%, to 25.5, 81% of the time, and the remainder 19% we should call this. So yeah, that would be it. This was a great fun playing this spot. I really like the GTO trainer. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't seen the previous videos, there's 20 of them in this playlist. You can go through them. Hopefully you can learn something. I definitely learned a lot playing this spot. We're gonna play another one now. I think we're gonna play another tournament spot because I really like playing tournaments. And we need to work on our frequencies. So that was super fun. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video and stayed this long, please leave a comment below. Just write GTO or ask any question you may have. Like this video, subscribe if you're not already. Check out the GTO trainer. Check out some of my other stuff. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Do you want to learn how to play PLO? Are you a beginner player who's never played Omaha before? Do you want to learn how to crush casual players easily? If so, this course is perfect for you. It's a crash course on Pot Limit Omaha dedicated for beginner players. You will learn all the fundamentals of PLO. You will learn what hands to play, when to play them, and how to play them. You will learn the basic strategies that allow you to be a winning player at your home games or microstakes online. If you want to learn PLO quickly and easily, get this course now at gokupoker.com.